Hello and welcome to Decoding the Economy. Today we're joined by Peg Fitzpatrick, who's the Head of Social Strategy at Canva. Peg, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. I'm fascinated in the whole idea of social strategy. Can you explain what you do at Canva?
That's the first question most people ask me, because people are, what does a social strategist do? And basically what I do is I look at the whole landscape of what the social media possibilities are for a company like Canva, which is local in Sydney. So Sydney isn't, as huge as some other countries like the US or, that are bigger in social media. So but I look at it all as a global marketplace. So social media can connect anyone, whether it's a small business, a large company. It's an equal playing field. It's an equalizer. So, if you have great content and you share interesting things, you can reach anyone in the world. So basically what I do is I tell the world about Canva. Instead of it just being a local company, it's a global company.
Right. One of the things when I talk to businesses, particularly smaller businesses, is that they really struggle with, there's just so many platforms out there. How do you manage all of that?
Well, we cover a lot of social media content, but I think if you're a small business, what you really need to do is first come up with who your customers are, who's your ideal customer base. Ours happens to be global, but for a small business that may not be the case. And then you need to find out where they are. Are they, more of family oriented, so Facebook is better? Are they other businesses? Are you a B2B company? So then they might be on Twitter, so that might be a better place. Or Google Plus is also, that gets you higher Google search. So if you're a smaller business, but you may have a bigger reach out into the world, you may want to try Google Plus.
So how do you measure that? You've got back-end analytics, or is it sit in the pants?
Well, I do both. And small businesses, I think, do that as well. I think, knowing who your customer is the most important thing for anybody. So starting there with your strategy on finding out who your customer base is, then looking at the different platforms, and then from there you figure out what type of content to go on that platform. And I don't recommend that people go on as many platforms as I do, because you really do have to know the platform and learn all the ins and outs of it. So, if you can only do one or two, just pick one or two would be awesome. Instead of trying to do all of them and then getting frustrated, and because small business owners also don't have time. That's a thing that they just don't have the time to invest. So something that's that they can do easily while still connecting with people.
So going on to bigger businesses, how do you see it interacting with traditional marketing, the social side, with old-fashioned advertising?
Well, I think because social media is much more cost effective even for big brands, because they can reach so many more people, and you can see the analytics. With traditional marketing, if you buy a little shopper ad or a print advertisement, trade journals, any of those things, you really don't see the return. You don't know if anybody saw it. You're not sure. You may be just talking to the same people all the time. So I think with social media, you can measure it a little bit more than marketing. Marketing, I think in general, is just tough. Marketing, advertising, it's not like the direct sales. It's like the funnel. It's the funnel that leads everything in. So it gets a little bit more criticism, I think, for the ROI on things. But I do feel like social media is the way that businesses, whether large or small, are connecting with people. All the big brands are on social media now.
Do you find that it's across industries as well? So you've got Canva, much more the creative industries. You've got the bigger brands probably finding that the Facebook's a network for them. But in certain industries, social works better than others?
I think everybody is on it now. I think that maybe the key is that they're choosing different social channels that work with them, whether they have YouTube content, if they're Facebook marketing. I mean, there's brands, let's take Oreo cookies, for example. One of my very favorite brands on social media. They're awesome, but my husband always says, if they never marketed again, people would still buy Oreo cookies. And yet they are one of the best marketers. Cadbury is another brand that I love on social media. They are huge on Google Plus. They have millions of followers. They post great content. They're really fun, and they have a video Google Plus Hangout series where they make things. So I think it's just finding, food is something that you wouldn't really think would be good on social media. But when you look at packaging now, you'll see find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. So it's really reaching mainstream, even to the point where now TV shows will have hashtags associated with them. But Breaking Bad was huge when that finale came out. The hashtag was trending. So I think it's reaching it's even getting more mainstream now than it was before. It actually took a long time for Twitter to get to that point.
Sure.
But now I see that with movies, they do promotions even in the trailers for movies with hashtags.
Yeah.
So I think it is the way to reach people now.
And how do you find it working with traditional marketing? Does it dovetail well? Or?
It does dovetail well because you never want to throw the baby out with bathwater.
Sure.
You want to keep the things that work and just add in things and test things all the time.
Yeah.
I'm big on test things, and if traditional advertising works for your brand, sometimes that's the only way to reach people. If you have a trade show or things like that, you don't want to ditch the traditional marketing. So if people are only in that genre, they don't see you anymore.
Right.
But if you, if it's something where you can reach out to them on social media, it's good to be both places, depending on, if you're trying to cover all the bases for big and small.
Sure.
Yeah.
When I talk to managers and small business owners, one of the things that really scares them with social media is that suddenly they've got an unfiltered interaction with the customer and the general public, which for some it could be, that's a bit intimidating. What's your advice to them?
Well, the thing is that they're there anyway saying those things. So
Right.
if you are not there, you're not listening and hearing what they have to say.
Yeah.
So I think the social listening part of social media is just as important. And there are some brands who just get a lot of hate on social media. It's
Sure.
true. But your traditional small business owner isn't going to get that. And if they have somebody who is unhappy, they would want to know.
Yeah.
I think one of the small business things that freaks people out is Yelp.
Right.
If they get a bad Yelp review, it can, they think it's the end of the world. But then there was a restaurant that had a horrible Yelp review, and they made a sign, they put it out front. They said one Yelp user said, "We have the worst soup in the world. Come and taste it for yourself."
Yeah.
So they spun it into something funny.
Yeah. So turn it around.
Yeah, turn it around, but be aware of the conversation.
Yeah.
You never want to just say, we're afraid to start. We're afraid of what people are going to say. We have so much positive interaction for Canva all the time.
Yeah.
Twitter, all day long, people are tweeting how much they love it, but every once in a while there's someone who gets stuck on something and they need help.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to catch that person and say, hey, contact us at support. Because that's one of the things where customer service and social media are connected.
Sure.
So you want to make sure that your social people can filter things to your customer service people.
Yeah.
So it can help with a lot of different aspects of your business.
That's a really important aspect too. How important how much are you seeing that marketing is the function of social media versus customer service?
Social media is leaking into everything. It's PR, it's media, it's customer service, it's customer listening.
Yeah.
So it depends on the company. Different companies take different views on how they're going to use it. Some people have a social account and then they'll have a separate customer service Twitter handle. Comcast Cares is one of the ones that was very popular. They just had their separate line, and it was very, so they can reach those people directly.
Yeah.
But then that's another account you have to manage, so a lot of places just do it through one. I'm sure Oreo cookie never has problems.
Yeah.
Like, this cookie was horrible. That doesn't happen, but
Right.
I think that it just depends on the company. Some have used it solely for PR. One of the best examples of social media PR is Donna Karen,
Right.
DKNY. Alyssa Licht is amazing. I totally love her. She was 100% PR, and she thought this is a great way to reach people. So she used Twitter, and I think my opinion is that she totally revolutionized the fashion industry and brought everybody online. Fashion bloggers, like it connected everybody.
Yeah.
She's got tons of followers. She's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's just finding that person, whether they see it as a media outlet or a marketing outlet or communications, customer service. It could be all of those different things.
Yeah.
So it's basically up to your company or your small business on how you want to use it. How is it going to help you? How is it going to help your business?
So where do you see social media?
That's a good question. I think it's going to continue to grow, obviously, because I think that as many people as are on Twitter, there's still a ton of people that aren't. There's still people every day that are like, this is my first time on Twitter. So I think all of these, you never hear that about Facebook anymore. I think everyone is on Facebook at this point. And you never know what's going to be next. Is it going to be Instagram, which, what's going to come up? Vine. A lot of brands are hitting Vine now as a viable platform. So where do I think it's going? I think it's going to continue to integrate where it's not going to be so much of a should we do it? I think it's just going to be infiltrated into the marketing. And I think it's changing all those different silos and companies where hopefully they'll get a better message going out that's more, easy for people to find. So I think it's definitely going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
I can't predict. I always think there's some new network that's like all of a sudden going to come out and be the next. That's because there's always something new. That's part of what's exciting about it.
So just to finish up, Peg, what excites you most about your role?
I love all of it. When I found Canva, it was like such a gift for me as a social media manager because I can't use Photoshop at all. So for me, it just saved me. Like my images were great. I worked with big brands. Before I worked with Canva, I worked with Kawasaki, and I worked with other big brands.
Yeah.
So the images that I were creating were going out to millions of people. If I tweet things, it could go out to millions of people. So it needs to look the best that it can. So it's like just sharing that with other people is great, so they can have the same success.
Right, great. Well, thank you very much for your time, Peg.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining Decoding the New Economy.